The motel room smelled of scorched soap and cheap aftershave when the manager forced the door open. Steam still clung to the ceiling, and the fire alarm screamed long after the flames had died. Inside the bathtub lay Arthur Bellows, 68, Korean War veteran, his skin pale and puckered, his chest marked with red blotches that looked like heat burns. The official report would later say cardiac arrest induced by stress and heat exposure. It sounded clean, reasonable. No one questioned why the smoke damage was limited to the bathroom. No one asked why the towels were folded neatly on the sink, untouched by panic. The local sheriff signed off before sunset, eager to clear another lonely death from his desk. Bellows had no family, no steady address, no one to insist on an autopsy. What went unnoticed was the small detail hidden beneath the tub's rim, a melted plastic syringe cap pressed into the porcelain like a fingerprint. By morning, it was gone.
Caleb Mortimer Hale was the kind of man people forgot seconds after meeting him. 39, lean, soft-spoken, he worked as a regional fire safety inspector, drifting from county to county with a clipboard and a government sedan. He knew how buildings burned, how smoke traveled, how panic failed. To Caleb, fire was not chaos, it was a predictable tool. At home in Tucson, his wife Iris Valdivia Hale cataloged pills with the same calm precision. Once a nurse in a private clinic, she had left medicine quietly after an administrative disagreement. Iris believed most deaths were simply delayed corrections. The weak survived on paperwork alone. They never spoke of murder. Instead, they spoke of balance, of men like Bellows who took and left nothing. Their marriage thrived on silence, planning, and the shared certainty that no one would miss the invisible.
Their first intentional killing happened 3 months later in Tampa, Florida, and it was Iris who chose the man. Rafael Mendez, a dock laborer without papers, had crushed his foot unloading citrus crates. Infection followed. No insurance, no record worth keeping. Iris visited him under the pretense of volunteer care, her old credentials still convincing enough. She cleaned the wound, changed the dressing, and adjusted the antibiotic dosage just slightly, enough to slow recovery, not enough to raise suspicion. That night, Caleb disconnected the oxygen concentrator while the man slept, timing it with a brief power outage logged by the Port Authority. Raphael died before dawn, septic shock, compounded by respiratory failure. The clinic filed the paperwork. The body was cremated within 48 hours. Caleb wrote a single line in his travel log: Florida inspection completed. By 1969, the deaths had acquired a rhythm. In Reno, Nevada, a trailer park filled with retired laborers lost Morris Klein, found dead in his camper with the generator still running. Carbon monoxide poisoning. An accident, everyone agreed. Caleb had inspected the park 2 weeks earlier, noting outdated ventilation but recommending no urgent repairs. The following winter in Salinas, California, Iris volunteered at a charity pharmacy. Eleanor Brooks, 74, confused and nearly blind, received her medication in an unmarked envelope. The pills looked identical. The dosage was not. Eleanor's heart failed during the night. Different states, different causes. What no one noticed was that every death occurred within 10 days of a routine safety or health review, paper trails so dull they were invisible.
The pattern emerged by accident, not brilliance. A junior analyst at the FBI's Sacramento field office flagged Morris Klein's death while reviewing outdated generator regulations. 2 similar cases surfaced in old reports, Florida and Arizona, each tied to routine inspections. The files landed on the desk of Eugene R. Whitlock, 56, a career investigator whose instincts had outlived his optimism. Whitlock wasn't hunting a killer, he was hunting improbability. Accidents clustered too neatly around administrative visits. A quiet interstate task force was formed. No press, no panic. They called it a statistical anomaly. Whitlock called it intent. He ordered a cross-reference of inspection schedules, volunteer medical logs, and unexplained deaths of socially isolated victims. One name appeared again and again, always briefly, always legally: Caleb M. Hale.
Whitlock's team moved cautiously and slowly, the way law enforcement did before computers learned to think for them. They chased false leads first: corrupt landlords, negligent clinics, faulty manufacturers. 2 men were briefly detained and released. The deaths continued. In New Mexico, a transient named Leo Farnsworth died of dehydration after collapsing near a highway rest stop. The report cited heat and poor health. What it omitted was that the rest stop had passed inspection the previous day, signed by Caleb Hale. Iris had been seen offering water to travelers, her kindness noted by a state trooper who remembered her smile but not her name. That night, Caleb nearly made a mistake, leaving a medical wrapper in a trash barrel. Iris burned it before sunrise. They argued for the first time in years, not about guilt, but precision. Whitlock, meanwhile, narrowed the list to 1 traveling couple.
The break came from a place no one wanted to search. Outside Alamogordo, New Mexico, a county crew clearing an illegal dump uncovered a shallow pit of burned debris. Among the ash were fragments of clothing, a scorched motel towel, and several warped medical bracelets bearing different names. One item survived the fire, a partially melted fire inspector badge, its serial number barely legible. Whitlock recognized it instantly. The badge had been reported lost by Caleb Hale months earlier. Ballistics were useless, there were no bodies, but the bracelets matched victims across 4 states. The pit wasn't a grave, it was an archive, proof that the deaths were connected, preserved not by violence, but by method. Whitlock signed the arrest warrants that night.
Caleb and Iris Hale were arrested without resistance at their Tucson home. Inside, agents found order masquerading as normalcy. In the garage freezer lay sealed bags containing medication vials labeled only with dates. A shoebox held wallets, dog tags, and motel keys. In the bedroom, investigators discovered a notebook in Iris's handwriting. It listed names, symptoms, and outcomes. No emotion, just results. Caleb's travel logs aligned perfectly with every death. During interrogation, Iris spoke first. She claimed responsibility, insisting Caleb merely followed. Caleb said nothing. He stared at the table, already reconstructing where they had failed. Whitlock didn't need confessions. The evidence spoke with bureaucratic clarity. The invisible had finally left records. The trial began in early 1971 and lasted 6 weeks. The courtroom was packed, not with outrage, but disbelief. No blood, no torture, just charts, inspection forms, and expert testimony explaining how small adjustments could end a life. The defense argued negligence, coincidence, shared delusion. The prosecution presented Iris's notebook and the burned artifacts from Alamogordo. A forensic pathologist testified that the deaths formed a deliberate progression. Iris took the stand and described their work as maintenance. Caleb remained silent. The jury deliberated less than 4 hours. Both were found guilty on multiple counts of first-degree murder. The sentence was death by electrocution. No one applauded.
The executions were carried out separately in the summer of 1972. Iris Valdivia Hale went first. She walked steadily, eyes forward, refusing a final statement. Witnesses later said she looked relieved, as if a long shift had finally ended. Caleb Mortimer Hale was executed 3 months later. When asked for his last words, he said only, "We were careful." The switch was thrown at 12:04 a.m. Death was pronounced 2 minutes later. In the years that followed, Whitlock wrote a quiet internal report. He concluded that the Hales had succeeded for so long because they never appeared where violence was expected. They worked inside systems designed to be trusted: inspection, care, routine. Their victims were buried without headlines. Their killers were remembered only in files. And the anomaly was closed.